Life is filled with adversities. Some you win, some you lose. But every day is a lesson. Today with Coffee with KD, we interview John Duplessis, a Pleasant Grove gym in our neighborhood. So let's go ahead and begin. Coffee with KD.
I grew up in the what they would call the ghetto, as people say. And, I moved from the ghetto, and I went from the ghetto to the White House. Fortunately, I as a young child I started boxing at 10 years old, and fortunately because of my boxing, it gave me the opportunity to get out the ghetto and move into great neighborhoods and so forth. And
Tell us some people that that you were named with along the journey.
Oh yeah, well coming up in the boxing game, Evander Holyfield, who naturally is one of the guys that I came up with the game with in boxing. Mike Tyson, me and Mike Tyson is very good friends, and that's at Casino Magic. And we had a lot of fights there. We had fought at the Grand Casino one time, and ever since then, boxing kicked off on the golf course as a result of me learning. He gave me the name. He said, you know what? He said, we at first everybody used to call me Speedy D. Speedy D, and we thought that name was not a real good name. So we said, well, we got to think of a name. So my manager said he was watching TV one day, and there was a football player called Super Duper. And he said, you know what? Super D. He said, I got my guy's name. So he called me up. He said, guess what? I got your fight name now. I said, what is it? He said, we're going to name you Super D.
Oh, man.
I said, oh, okay, that's great. So ever since then, I fought on ESPN, USA Boxing, fought on World TV, on pay-per-view on news occasions. I mean, I'm telling you, boxing has really been good for me. No one could ever tell me that. No one could ever tell me that. My dad was on death row, and he was, to get him free from out of jail like that was just amazing. But the amazing part about it is, when I used to go see my dad as a young kid, I had told my dad, I said, Dad, I'm gonna get you out of jail. And my dad said he just laughed and said, okay, son, but he, thinking I'm 10, 11 years old, talking about getting him out of jail, But that happened. God brought that to fruition.
When everything was at the prime for you with your boxing career and everything like that, how did Katrina affect everything as far as your career, your lifestyle, and everything from that point forward?
Well, with Katrina happening, it turned things around. Of course, New Orleans was my home. I love New Orleans. I love the food and so forth. And I love the environment. People know me there and so forth. And when Katrina hit, it just turned things just all around. I mean, man, I lost my home, and my friends lost houses, my neighbors. And my story is that how I drove from New Orleans all the way here to Katrina. When Katrina hit, I drove from New Orleans to here, and it was a journey. It took me.
People don't understand, even more of the significance of your journey, because your journey is an interesting one. We talked about, your boxing career, how extensive it was. You being named with some of the heavyweights. We're talking about Evander Holyfield. We're talking about Mike Tyson. We're talking about all these different influences. I mean, you at your prime were a big name, and people just really don't really understand that without learning definitely what I learned about you. So, but when we're looking at everything as far as your boxing career in its entirety, what transpired with that, and how the boxing career helped you, but let's tell the story also about how the boxing career gave you some challenges that you currently have to face. Tell us about those.
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna give you two stories. One of them is that I had to eventually sue my manager because my manager was taking 50% of my earnings. So that struggle there, to go through the struggle of me getting in the boxing ring and actually losing some of my vision.
Mm-hmm.
And just never thought that would happen. And people would look at me and they see me get around so easily and so forth. They say, that guy can't be legally blind. But boxing, as a result of boxing, it caused me to become legally blind.
And how you use your boxing career to help your father out as it relates to the judicial system. Tell us about that.
Well, this is just amazing that, my father, of course, naturally, he went to jail when I was 1 year old.
Mm-hmm.
And he was sentenced for life. He had life without parole.
Mm-hmm.
And as a result of me boxing and so forth, and the governor of Louisiana went to a couple of my fights.
Really?
Yes.
The governor's really digging you and really liking what you were doing.
He's like So the governor came to a couple of my fights, and he liked what I was doing in the community and so forth. So it's amazing. The parole board, the Louisiana parole board, one of the parole board parole board members, the governor was about to resign. Leave his office.
Mm-hmm.
Not resign, but leave office. And he said, you know what? He said, we gonna go talk to the governor. Come on down with me to the governor's mansion. We having a luncheon with the governor, and I want you to ask the governor to free your father. So the governor knew me already because I boxed and so forth. He'd been in a couple of my fights, and I went to the governor, and then the governor told me, he said, come here. So we went to the governor's office, and I said, ask the governor to free my dad. And lo and behold, the governor said, he said, let me think about it. He said, let me talk to my assistant. He said, leave your number with my assistant. Man, do you know when I got to New Orleans is like from New Orleans to like from Birmingham to Montgomery.
Mm-hmm.
New Orleans is like from New Orleans to Baton Rouge, where the governor's office is.
Mm-hmm.
When I got back to New Orleans, man, I got a phone call saying, hey, Mr. Duplessis, he said, this is the governor's office, this is his assistant, and we just want to let you know that you can go get your dad.
Wow. Wow. Mm-hmm.
And, but, over the years and so forth of just being myself, I was able to overcome some obstacles and stuff. 9 years old.
Yeah.
So I went back to school at 39 years old,
Mm-hmm.
and went back to school, and it was real tough, trying to learn some things and so forth after, so many years of not being in school and so forth. But I stuck with it, man. It was a lot of tough times. I wanted to drop out of school. I wanted to quit. I stuck with it. And the amazing part about this that people don't know,
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Dunn,
Mm-hmm.
people don't know this, that the year that Katrina hit was the same year I graduated.
Really?
So I started to drop out of school.
Mm-hmm.
So if I would have dropped out of school, I would have not graduated. Probably wouldn't have not even went back to school anymore because Katrina hit.
Mm-hmm.
You see? But as a result of me not giving up and saying I'm going to go to school, I'm going to continue on going, Katrina hit, and hey, I graduated the month before Katrina hit. I accomplished bachelor's degree in psychology and a master's degree in social work.
Wow.
And I use those skills there, and as a result of me having those degrees there, allowed me to be able to open up my own business, start my own business.
Mm-hmm. You spoke earlier about the drive. Now, I've traveled to New Orleans, and I know the drive is about, when I'm driving, it's about, what is it, baby, about 5-6 hours, about 5 hours. You said it took you how long?
It took me 18 hours to get here to Birmingham.
And so tell us about that journey.
Yeah, and because the eve of the hurricane hit New Orleans, I left, and I don't drive at night because of my night blindness.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to drive, and I left at night. So So what I had to do is I had to get out the car, go to the sign, see what the sign say, get back in my car, take off again, stop at another sign, look at the sign, and see what it says. So that's why it took me that long to get to Birmingham, because actually I was following my wife, because my wife has family that lives here in Birmingham. So I was trying to get to her. So I'm getting out the car, and I had to stop at every sign that was up there, because I had to get out the car because of my distance in terms of driving and so forth, and because of writing on the sign. But I overcame that obstacle. You know, it was a journey, man. It really was.
It's a story of determination. You know, you had obstacles, you had setbacks. You know, the vision, the career, your businesses, having to really have a comeback. You know, when you think about boxing, you know, the comeback.
Yeah.
You know, you when you're boxing, you got that career, you know, it's like the comeback kid. So you trained as much as you did to become a great boxer. Right. You know, and now you fighting to, after the vision loss, to live your life as normal as you possibly can.
Yes. To
come back from that adversity. Yeah. So you have a story that really represents not looking at an obstacle, but that's one of my biggest things, you know, because we all have obstacles.
Right.
And, you know, your story is one that should motivate several people out there to make them realize that no matter what obstacles we face, you keep moving, you keep going.
That's right.
Because the only thing that can stop you is you.
That's right.
Or death.
John's story is one of sheer determination. He has lived a life full of obstacles and victories. We highlighted John today because he is definitely a gem within our neighborhood. John's 3 scrapbooks that highlight the beginning, the middle, and ending of his career are constant reminders of his success. He uses these as examples to move forward and let people know that he's never out for the count. Although John is legally blind, his vision for success is 20/20. Whether being a TKO in the ring or knocking out barriers in life, from Super D and Coffee with KD, Pleasant Grove, we say good night.